Okay, Outlaws, this is a bit of a rabbit hole. I apologize, so I'm going to try to break it down as fast, easy as possible. Now, like I said before at the beginning of the last video, I deleted another video because I recorded it, then I found more information. I was like, okay, I want to do this. One, I wanted to find out, like, how did they get found out? Like, who is behind them? Where is this located? What's going on? Like, what is my theory? And I had to develop a theory. What is really going on behind the study? Because again, it was weird that it was only conducted in such a like it's conducted in silence, okay, for 4 months. And this is the AI study that was used against the Redditors without their knowledge and consent. And then what I found out is they turned themselves in. So the University of Zurich had this group. They turned it into their ethics committee. The ethics committee reviewed it, found nothing wrong, except conducting human and social, mental, manipulative tests against people. Nothing wrong. But they did chastise one person supposedly. And then after 4 months of collecting data, then the researchers turned them in. Oh, my Lord. Okay, so in a brief summary of the research posted online but subsequently removed, researchers reported that the AI content was significantly more persuasive than human-generated content. No kidding, because AI's machine, it's, if designed to do such a thing, it is designed to study human behavior, analyze it, and then go after the most effective methods of breaking that person down. Like I said, it's not like having a conversation with a real person, a natural way of sharing ideas and expressing. This is technologically enhanced, purposeful manipulation towards an individual. That's what it is. It's manipulation. There is no conversation here. It's just manipulation. The machine is there to force you to change your viewpoint. And if not force you to change your viewpoint, to do its damnedest to study why it did not work, and then obviously use that against future targets. Okay. Receiving more deltas awarded for a strong argument. That was the AI. More deltas. Deltas, if you don't know, it's like this Reddit's way of saying, hey, I changed my mind. This thing changed my mind. So again, purposeful, technologically enhanced manipulation. Award for a strong argument that resulted in changed beliefs per comment than other accounts. So before I go too much further into this, who is behind all of it? It's a bit of a rabbit hole, okay? And I'm going to break it down piece by piece. I'm going to look into who's funding this university, where is this university located, what else is going on in this university's country of origin, which political groups are they involved with. It just... and it all makes sense at the end. Because again, not only was this bad, but then I looked into like what exactly are they talking about? Like what stance were these AI bots taking? And all of them were taking either right-wing talking points, right-wing conservative views discussions, like, ideologies, and then usually ideas, argument points that are counter to left-wing or extreme left-wing talking points. So this wasn't just an oopsie study. This was targeted. This was purposeful studying. This was purposely understanding how AI can be used to manipulate people. Or more accurately, also because it was taking that right-wing stance, how can they more effectively defend or counter or undermine the right-wing talking points? That's really what this study was all about. And again, I don't hear a lot of people talking about this. Okay, so anyways, let's get back to this, and I'll break it down piece by piece. It's going to be a bit of a long video, so just hang out with me here. Okay, so deltas. Deltas are the, hey, I changed my mind on this Reddit thread. And the AI received the most rewards for a strong argument that resulted in changed beliefs per comment than other accounts. The comments personalized with inferred user information performed best in the 99th percentile of all commenters within a subreddit. So it was doing fantastic, that machine. The machine. But the community rules do not allow AI-generated content. Yes, because they want actually people talking with other people and sharing ideas, not people being mass manipulated. Propaganda and psychological warfare. Like I said, And the work crossed an ethical line because it tried to change people's behavior and track the effects. Exactly. It was tracking to see how it continued to manipulate people's mindsets and also how to undermine these future discussion points. Again, they weren't studying for the good of humanity. They're studying for the good of a political party and a political stance. Surprise, surprise. AI already at work destroying human lives. That kind of interventional research demands informed consent. Yes, it does, which the researchers did not seek. It wasn't until March 17th, that the experiment had run for 4 months, that the Reddit moderators, volunteers, and running the committee received a message from researchers informing them of the experiment. It was shocking, said Logan McGregor, one of the moderators. I had to read it 3 times. And that's why I looked into it and I said, what government are these sponsoring these people? Because you're Zurich. Okay, so the University of Zurich, now I already told you guys about this enough. I think it's now time to open up more, peel back the petals, peel back the flower, dig deeper into the onion, peel this onion. This isn't allowed. In Switzerland, where this is located, this is, again, from what I've read from these articles, against the law, what they did. So here we go to this part right here. Don't move on. They have broken several Switzerland laws, says Dominique Sprumont, a professor of law at the University of, I can't pronounce that, and chair of the Research Ethics Committee of the Canton of Vaud. It was not health research, and therefore didn't fall under specific legislation in Switzerland that governs research in humans. But the Swiss Constitution requires informed consent for all research, and data protection laws also require consent for personal data to be gathered and to be used in a profile. Remember, the AI hyper-studied people's past comments before even engaging with them, before it was unleashed upon those people, and basically just utilized to drive that opinion into them. Again, when you look at the fact that it was only serving, it was oddly only representing one political ideology, and the researchers were claiming that they were doing it in order to protect against a widespread misinformation and propaganda, you know who they're working for: extreme left-wing governments, which is, again, like I said, it's not good if the extreme left does it. It isn't good if the extreme right does it. It's not good. We need to be a little bit more centered, all of us. Okay, so let's go into this. Where is all this chaos going on? So, Switzerland, right here. Now, Zurich University, right around here. What's also in Switzerland? Let's talk a little bit more about Switzerland, first of all. Now, Switzerland is a neutral country. It's not part of the European Union, and you're going to quickly find out why. And again, this is a bit of a rabbit hole. Hang out with me here. Okay, so there's multiple reasons why Switzerland is not part of the EU, although Switzerland does kind of seem to reflect a lot of their policies and ideologies. Biggest thing is that Switzerland is too rich. Kind of weird. One of the biggest problems from the Swiss perspective is the wealth divide. Switzerland would not only be one of the net contributors to the EU, one of the countries that pays more than it takes out. Basically, so Switzerland doesn't want to be part of the European Union because if they're a member, they'd have to pay a large amount because it's a wealthy country. The Swiss electorate can also vote on issues several times a year, including on a national level. Direct democracy is a national sacred cow. Okay, so very wealthy nation. They want to control their own politics. They want to remain neutral. They're kind of in the middle of everything, but let's keep going. All right, so why exactly, what else is going on in Switzerland? Why exactly are they so worried about their independence? Because they also are the founding nation of the WEF, World Economic Forum. If you guys don't know what World Economic Forum is just yet, basically it's just a bunch of very rich people flying to Davos. Let's go back to our wonderful map right here. Davos is right there. Ta-da! And they get to go around and they get to tell all of you how you're supposed to live your life, own nothing, and be happy. Now, traditionally, what political group would be opposed to having their national identity wiped away, destroyed, crushed, being told that you're not good enough, and that you must be replaced with other people? But we're not going to call it replacement. We're just going to say you're being replaced. What political group would be most opposed to that? Right-wing groups. So then we go back to the AI study and how it's traditionally just taking on right-wing talking points in such a way to expose how they would convince people how to believe or listen to those right-wing talking points. And then obviously collect data on how they respond, and then collect data on how to undermine it. Now, people have mixed feelings about the World Economic Forum. They say some people believe they're actually doing good. They're really concerned about climate change. I call that BS. They are not concerned about climate change. Let's take a little look into what they did. Ta-da! Amazon forest felled to build road for climate summit. Remember the big talking point, climate change, climate change, climate change, climate change, climate change. COP30, climate summit. And guess who will be going there? You guessed it. Switzerland, Geneva specifically. They wiped out tens of thousands of acres of protected, well, not that protected, Amazon rainforest for the COP30 climate summit. It's not about protecting climate change. They don't care about it. It's about control. So, I know this was a lot. I tried not to go too deep into it, but that's who Switzerland's political influence is dominated by. WF, far extreme, just, I don't want to call it left. I just call it the global elites are just pitting both left and right against you. Now, I did look into also who is funding the University of Zurich, where all this stuff occurred. A mix of people. Two of them, the Werner Simons Foundation, which is primarily focused on solar cells with satellites. And then another one with the Larsen Rosenquist Foundation, which is focused on breast milk and, pumping manufacture. But it is also funded by the state. Ta-da! So that's why. And the funny thing about this university, it's not even really known for technology. And so it's kind of almost like this research was kind of like tucked away and hidden just so people wouldn't notice it until it was way too late. And then it was exposed. They figured it's fun anyways because, the average person will find this out. But like, oh, this AI was being used to push right-wing talking points. Well, what would I want to do if I wanted people not talking to each other? Make people think more and more they're just talking, that anybody who disagrees with them is an AI bot. And that's what's going to be effective. It's actually sinisterly intelligent. If you wanted to further divide two groups of political ideology people, remember, because this Reddit page was supposed to bring people together to try to see if they could change each other's minds. But if you wanted to further divide people, publicly release this study saying that AI bots with right-wing talking points were convincing left-wing people and tricking them by hyper researching and hyper analyzing and then countering their comments, their beliefs, their talking points, everything about them, stealing personal data, and then use that to weaponize AI tech to use propaganda against them, lie against them, and then trick them into believing that talking point. There's no more effective way to divide people than be like, hey, you don't even know if you're talking to an AI bot now. And that, unfortunately, is the truth. And I really believe, once again, I'm not surprised that Switzerland was the country that this research was exposed from. The WF is connected. Maybe not directly, but very indirectly. And it's just one big globalist mess. All right, Outlaws. Sorry, I tried to put this together as best I could for you guys. There's a lot of information to take in, and I didn't want to make it like a super, super long, annoying, like hard to follow video. I will put all the references in here. You can look it up. Like I said, can't prove it 100%, but there's too many pieces in this puzzle that all match and click in together for it just to be a coincidence. I don't believe that. All right, Outlaws. We'll see you next time.